Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. My name is Mr. Reality, and I'm joined with Liz Cross. I'm grateful for your time, Liz. How are you?
Well, I'm grateful for your time and your well thought out questions. Thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. There's some questions. I don't know if you know this person or not, but Jack Hanna is a famed zoologist, and he used to bring animals onto the different late night shows, and he's like been a staple of my youth. And I don't know if people know or not, but he's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, dementia, and so I wanted to try and find out if that's part of the soul path, what he knows now, what his higher consciousness knows now, and just kind of pick away at what that's done to his identity.
Yeah, I didn't know he had dementia or Alzheimer's. Wow.
Yeah, so when we bring him in to the hot seat and talk to his higher self, does the higher self have the ability to communicate with us, or is it affected by the dementia in the physical body?
I feel like we can communicate. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. I'm curious as to what part of him we're talking to since the physical brain is now compromised.
The soul.
Okay. What does this mean about the soul journey when you interact with all these experiences and then are destined to forget them?
Mm. It was designed that way. I'm saying, why? Why would why would you design it? Because everybody has to leave some way, and that's the way he wanted to leave. It's
But
painful.
it is painful, and it's painful for those around him. Are there life lessons that he's teaching those people around him?
Many, many, many life lessons. I feel like his family are distraught, quite naturally. But also, there's a lot going on within himself. He's frustrated. It's like, I feel that he is actually at the point where he has lost his ability to communicate effectively.
Right.
He's almost in a vegetative state. Um, and parts of him receives flashes of information, but you can't piece it together where it makes sense. He's forgotten who he once was. Gosh, that's so sad.
And so has he forgotten who he once was, or he just can't express that anymore?
Is it because you can express it? It's a bit of both, actually. Fleeting moments of who I was, but then I think that I'm thinking about someone else, is what he's saying to me. And that couldn't be me because I don't remember who I was. So there are flashes of that where he does remember who he is.
How does dementia or Alzheimer's that he has affect his ability to remember the experience that he's had throughout his life? Can he, because people harken back to their youth, the earlier memories, does he still have contact with those?
Yes, of some childhood memories, parental figures, but then after a while, I don't know who these people are.
And so, what does he feel other people might be suffering with their family members or loved ones afflicted with Alzheimer's or dementia? How could they better interact with the person afflicted by it?
Have a better interaction. Well, it's about patience and understanding and forgiveness on many levels, and repetitiveness, obviously. And it's about having empathy. Listen to all these emotions that are coming out with regards to having dementia and Alzheimer's, right? it really puts people through the ringer.
Yeah.
And trust, you have to trust that not only you're doing the right thing, you're within yourself, or if I feel like he does have people caring for him. So it's trusting that people are looking after him properly. It's management. It's a whole spectrum of emotions for everyone involved, including himself. Because, like I said, he does get moments of where he remembers who he is. And when he has these flashes, it's like he wants to jump up and he wants to be the person that he was. But then those are just very quick reminders. And then he doesn't even actually believe that those are the people that, or that was the person he was. Like, that's not me. I don't remember that.
So can
Mm.
he recall speaking to us now, his interactions with all these animals and these indigenous cultures?
He recalls speaking to all of these or having these interactions with animals and indigenous people? No, no, he doesn't. In fact, even if he looks at a photograph of himself, he says, "Who is that?"
Who was Jack Hanna in a previous lifetime before he incarnated as Jack Hanna?
Who were you in a previous he was actually a female, a mother. He had children. He lived in a very modest house. I feel like he was an early colonial, but I don't feel like it was in the United States. I feel like it was more like South Africa. And actually quite scared of the animals. This was a new life and a new existence for him or her. And really quite terrified of these wild animals. Grew up in the UK and had a lot of. Were you in the UK or were you in the Netherlands? Netherlands, sorry, excuse me, forgive me. In the Netherlands, so origins of Dutch, South Africa, and this whole existence of being in a strange place, but his or her husband in that life had to work in South Africa. So it was something to do with setting up some sort of business or banking system. Just really terrified of the animals there. So
So I
in
hope
this
he met
lifetime,
more animals than any of us combined in the lifetime as Jack Hanna. I wanted to ask his higher soul if there, what did he notice about the changes of people's attitude towards conservation efforts of animals? Because that's a lot of what he was preaching.
do you feel like you made a massive conservation? Yes, he does in this on the soul level. Yes, that was his role, that was his job. And it was also about being able to trust wild animals. They're very unpredictable with their behavior. Obviously, they're not all cute and cuddly, he says. And it's about having that level of trust within himself and also within the beings he's interacting with and the communities, and really just came to educate the world.
Does he see any medical advancements in the near term, maybe 5 years out, that will help dementia patients?
Yes, there's going to be some sort of shock therapy to the brain that will try to prevent or certainly slow it down. That will, rewire the brain. I feel like there is some sort of shock therapy. It's very new, but it will work. So instead of just trying to soothe it with medication, this it really needs drastic action.
Wow. And what does he feel he'd like to do now in his waning years about raising awareness of endangered species?
Well, right now, as I'm tapping in, he's ready to go. He's ready to leave the earth plane. He's been ready.
I almost said months, but didn't want to be tragic.
I didn't know that. He's ready to go. I'm getting that very strongly. And part of the reason this dementia Alzheimer's is contracted in as well, very interesting, is so that he isn't aware of the dying process and that he'll leave gracefully.
But there were the questions about endangered species. He wanted to. What does he want his legacy to be?
Hopefully, he says environmental protection, so that when he comes back into his new lifetime, he'll reincarnate in a world that's better than when he left it. That's what he's looking to achieve.
What advice would he give to family members that want to travel with dementia patients?
What advice would you give to well, point blank, he says don't do it. It's almost a fruitless exercise. It's more for the family as opposed to the patients, so that they can remember the good times and have the memories. I feel like sometimes he's telling me travel, and I've never had to deal with anything like this in my family, so I really don't know, but he's telling me sometimes travel, they do this to evoke memories, to try and reinvigorate, reignite the senses in the brain,
Right.
and possibly rejuvenate parts of the brain that have been lost due to wiring malfunctions or diminished brain capacity. It feels like parts of the brain are dying out, or they're just not reproducing brain cells on the level that they should. He says it's more for the benefit of those who are taking the dementia patient than the dementia patient itself. And if you realize how frustrating traveling is, not knowing where you're going, what you're doing, there also needs to be some sort of routine and comfort and familiarity, he's saying. And it's quite disruptive when you're taking a Alzheimer's or dementia patient traveling.
Well, I know that a lot of people might be meeting members of the family during the holiday season that they haven't seen in a long time. And I think we should just express to them that have patience with those people who might not have as clear a memory as you remember them having.
Yes, and I mean, he's saying, you can try to trigger, some memories, but see, I feel the lesson is more about the people involved than the patient itself, because the patient itself has no awareness of what's going on. Yes, they do experience a wide range of emotions, a lot of frustration, a lot of confusion, and things like that. But it seems like the real life lesson on a soul level that I'm getting is about the, soul family, the marriage, or the siblings, or the children, whoever is very close friends, whoever is close to the individual who's experiencing this. It's really that they're going through so many emotions on the earth plane. It's almost like they're grieving someone who hasn't left yet. And it's a very, very traumatic experience, is what I'm getting.
There is a brain memory and there is a soul memory. And I would just say that it's important to make memories that the soul can carry on beyond your physical body and your physical brain, because those, as we're finding with these probes, are also lasting memories that last forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we leave the earth plane, that was a good point. When we leave the earth plane, oftentimes those soul memories, they're locked within the DNA, the coding, and of course they're carried into the spirit world. Those those etheric memories are then, transported back down into the next lifetime. But because of limited brain capacity that we have, and as human beings, it's very difficult to access those past life memories. What would be interesting is to do a whole session on Alzheimer's and dementia, and to see exactly what's going on. But from what I can tell you in this session, like, it feels almost as if the brain is dying out, right? It's forgetting how to function. I think it has to do a lot with the cell reproduction. It's not reproducing. We have cell reproduction, and the new cells that it is reproducing, that are being reproduced, are not functioning. So even the cellular memory, folks, even the cellular memory, where it copies over from one cell to the new cell, is lost. And that is the root cause of Alzheimer's and dementia on that level. I'm getting that very strongly. So it's about copying the information over cell to the new cells, and that information is not being transferred. So we have to find a way around that. And for those scientists out there, for those in epidemiology, research, university research, medical research, that's where you need to investigate.
Yeah, I could done a lot of research on it myself. I don't want to bore people with the details, but I just wanted to thank Jack Hanna while he's with us. Tell him that we love him. We love all the travels that he's taken us on, and we live through him. Does he have any final messages to the fans out there listening?
Well, he says if it wasn't for me, for us fans, like us, if it wasn't for us, there wouldn't have been a him. And the only reason he kept going and pursued this passion and was motivated was because he saw the need. And due to the fans expressing so much love and emotional energy towards him, just gratitude, that's what kept him going. He realized that this was a purpose larger than himself. And he's just, thankful that he was able to bring this level of communication and be a voice for the animals, really.
Modern day Dr. Doolittle, Jack Hanna. Thanks for your time, and thank you, Liz Cross, everybody out there. Thanks for listening. We wish you happy holidays.